Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host, Myron. Today, we've got a bottle of Knob Creek Cask Strength on the channel. Shout out to Nix of Clinton, man. I went to Nix of Clinton to get a bottle of this and some meat because Nix of Clinton is just a small family-owned grocery store. At least the one down here in Waldorf is. The one, I think, in California, Maryland is a touch bigger. It's kind of like a Giant. But I went in there, I didn't see anything that I haven't seen before. I mean, and I need to shoot that store. I played, if you guys haven't seen the episode, I played golf with the grandson of the original owner, Nick, who has retired. They do picks all the time. And I need to just reach out to him to see if I can shoot the store. But anyway, so I go in there looking for a bottle of OF 100, which is one heck of a daily just to have on the shelf, and some chicken thighs, because I was cooking dinner. So, I'm walking around, don't see anything new in the bourbon aisle, of course, that I don't have. They just had a rare character, batch 3, that I left on the shelf. I should have picked it up. I go to the meat counter in the back, and I just happened to look down on the barrel beside me. I was like, I didn't know they had bourbon down here, you know? So I look down, and I see the Elijah Craig pick, but then I see Knob Creek pick, and I was like, does that say Cask Strength? Cask Strength? Cask Strength? Anybody say Cask Strength? I was like, hold up, I gotta get that. So I take a look at it. Yes, it is 123.4 proof. So that's only 3.4 proof points higher than the typical 9-year single barrel. So it was $10 higher. It was $69.99, which the normal single barrel that's 120 proof is $59.99. I said, you know what, I'm going to do it, because who does not want to have a Knob Creek Cask Strength on their shelves? Now, I am a big fan of Knob Creek. It was kind of my gateway after Booker's. I found myself going to Knob Creek because I just didn't want to spend that much money, because it was like $60 at the time, which at the time was a lot of money, but look at what Booker's is today. And shout out to Brian. Brian said that Booker's is like the new ECBP. He said Booker's has gone down in quality, but it has gone up in price. And then Dirty RC was like, well, I'm telling you, Jimmy's batch is the one to get. So anyway, these right here are the Knob Creek. These were a special edition, limited edition 2001 release. This was batch number 4. This thing was around 14, I think 14.7, 14.9. It was close to 15 months old, something like that. I took this to Dennis's first bourbon meetup, and this bottle, I went there with half a bottle. It got crushed. Even Chris from Bourbon Retriever had to find a bottle after that. Now, as you guys notice, I didn't do a bottle drop. I think you are very familiar with the new wavy bottles of Knob Creek. It's nothing special about it. It didn't change. That's why I didn't do the bottle drop. I want to get into this glass, put it up against a 10-year pick, because this one is just shy of 10 years old. It's like, I think like 3 months shy of 10 years old. So I want to put it up against the, this is the Knob Creek 12, but this right here, I'm going to get a sample of this, put them side by side, and then we'll see how it goes. But let's get into the nose of this one. Just classic brown sugar, classic vanilla. A little bit of proof. A little bit of proof, and I spilled a little bit. I poured a little too much in this Drug City glass. All right, let's get into the palate. Oh, the same thing as when I cracked it. I'm a big Knob Creek fan anyway. The only time I've ever really gotten peanuts is in an old Granddad 114. I don't get peanuts in this thing. This is, to me, this is classic quintessential bourbon at its best. It is oaky. It is chocolate heavy on the back end. It's got some char on the back. It is super brown sugar forward up front. It is very rich. You do pick up a little bit of that vanilla. At 123.4, it is not killing me with proof. When I got it home and cracked it, that was my first drink of the day. I was like, whoa, this thing got some heat on it. Knob Creeks are the wild turkeys of wild turkey. So like, the 101s are spicy. Rare breeds are spicy. Russells, a little more calmed down, a little more refined. All of them still good. That's how I look at the Knob Creeks. To me, Knob Creek will punch you in the mouth with flavor at 100 proof, and it will punch you in the mouth with more flavor at 120 proof. At 123.4 proof, it is just a classic, quintessential bourbon. Like, I am not saying that I am like blown away, but I am really enjoying this bottle. And at 70 bucks, I know some people are probably gonna say, well, I can just get the normal SIB for $10 less. People forget that they have cask strength offerings because remember, this was a special edition from 2010. This was a special edition cask strength rye that they released at cask strength. The normal rye only comes in at 115. I know that's quite a bit of a difference in proof points, but I think it's worth having a cask strength Knob Creek on the shelf. Now, I am waiting for like a crazy high cask strength Knob Creek to come out. One thing that I will say though is I was upset. I was upset when I first heard that they were coming out with these cask strengths because their master distiller, and I forgot what video I was watching, but their master distiller said that they were no longer focused on age. So I started thinking ECBP right off the top. Like the cynics, when ECBP said no longer were they focusing on 12 years, were saying, oh man, we're gonna get younger juice that's not gonna be of good quality. The people who are optimists like me were saying, hopefully we get good juice, and if it's a little younger, then maybe it'll be at better quality, but we might get some 14-year-old stuff. Then they tricked us with C923, and then from there on out, it kind of went downhill. I enjoyed pretty much all of them after C923. Kind of stayed away from the A125 because of the bad rap that it got. But going back to Knob Creek, I was a little upset. I was like, we are going to start getting like 7-year-old Booker's juice that's just going to be so-so. Some of them will be hit or miss. As of right now, this one coming in at almost 10 years old, I am really digging. Let's get back into the nose one more time. So some clay shows up on the nose. There's a light hint of a fruit note. I can't like really pick out what it is. And when I say clay, don't take that in a bad way. Sometimes I get like this Play-Doh note. I don't know if you guys, you can put it in the comments whether you get that note or not. Sometimes I get like this Play-Doh note. Vanilla. And like I said, classic brown sugar. All right, back on the palate for the second time. See if anything has changed. That is just so solid. Like, I am not mad at that at all. I'm not mad that I spent the 70 bucks. You get I'm starting to pick up a little bit of like heat on the back of it. There's some spiciness on the back of it. But as far as just a classic bourbon goes, like you can't beat this, man. And I know, look, JDSBBP Rise and the JDSBBP regular Tennessee whiskey are some excellent examples of great whiskey. You know, the Tennessee whiskey bourbon, whatever you want to call it, is amazing. It's phenomenal. It's like, I rank it number one. The rye, well, those two can go back and forth. I started liking the rye more, but like if I had to pick like a bottle that was like almost right at that level, it's the Knob Creek single barrels. Those Knob Creek single barrels can be phenomenal, man. None of the JDs have let me down, but if we could get some of these Knob Creeks in like 130, 133 proof, 135 proof, oh, I can't. I'm telling you guys, it's not the proof, it's the flavor. But if we could get some of these and those higher proofs and offer some of those richer flavors, oh my gosh, this might even top those. All right, so let's get into the breakdown. Well, no. Actually, yeah, we'll get into the breakdown first. I'll do it like I did the last video. So, is this worth the chase? It is a cask strength Knob Creek. I think it is very lovely, very enjoyable. The only reason why I'm going to say that it is not worth the chase is because these single barrels are phenomenal. This is $10 higher than a single barrel. I am really enjoying this product, but I have never had anything bad to say about the Knob Creek single barrels. Even it's kind of like with the Uncle Nearest. I don't really care for the regular lineup. You know, the 100 proof rye is pretty good, but the single barrels, I've never had a bad one. Is it worth retail at 70 bucks to have a cask strength Knob Creek on your bar when the regular costs 60 bucks, I think it's worth it. I don't mind spending the extra $10 for the cast strength Knob Creek. So I do think it's worth the price. Who is it for? 123.4 proof, man. Anything cast strength, I'm going to say is for an experienced bourbon drinker. Now, we do know you can have lower cast strengths out there. It's what it comes out the cask at. So if it's sitting on a lower floor of the rick house, it could be way lower proof, but typically cast strength is going to be a higher proof. But at that proof, definitely an experienced bourbon drinker. Will it always be on the bar? After I put it up against the Knob Creek regular 120, I may be tempted to run back and get a second one. But as of this point right now, it will always be on the bar. Now let's get this thing poured up. So this is the 10-year Virginia ABC pick. And you got to remember, the one that I have over here in this glass is almost 10 years old. So this one was barreled in 10/7/2014, barreled and bottled in 12/4/2024. So that's a little over 10 years old. This one was barreled in 9/2/2015 and bottled in 6/18/2025. So that is a few months shy, basically around 3 months shy of being 10 years old. All right, so going into the nose of both. Cast strength first. Oh, loving it, man. Vanilla, some fruit, brown sugar. The funny thing is, I'm not picking up, lately I've been picking up like clove notes in Heaven Hill and Knob Creek, not picking that up. All right. The 10-year pick. Very similar, picking up a little more of like a cherry note on this one. Maybe picking up a touch of nuttiness. Like I said, really only to the OGD 114. Smells very rich on the nose. All right, I'm going into the palate. Well, I've gone into the palate on this one already. Let's go into the pick, which I think is amazing, by the way. The nuttiness in that one actually transfers over to the palate. So like, I am picking up that nuttiness. I don't want to say it's, a lot of people say peanuts. I can see where you're going with that. Normally when I pick up a nutty note, it is like a sunflower seed nuttiness. I am not picking that up. I probably will agree that coming off of this single barrel cast strength right here, this one is actually giving me like almost like a milled, not the peanut shell, but like when you're making like natural peanut butter. It's got a pretty decent finish, more leather on the finish than char, where this one had more char. A little bit of a lemon zest on the nose too. All right, time to go into the cast strength 123.4 single barrel pick. That's just classic. And I'm picking up more oak now. Like I'm picking up, it was oaky when I first cracked it, but I am picking up way more oak on the palate now. More char on the back, where this one finishes with leather. I'll tell you what, I've got another glass here. Let's just put it up against, and I should kill this bottle. Sometimes I get attached to these older bottles. You see, look at what's in that thing. I get attached to these older bottles. If I'm not mistaken, they used this bottle from 2016 to 2019. So let's see, and this is a 9-year. Let's see what this one does. All right, so nose. Oh, the nose on that one is kind of waxy, kind of oaky. It's not a cherry note, it's kind of a fruity note, but it's a little more floral. All right, let's get it on the palate. It could be because of the amount in the bottle, and I've had it for a little while, and the oxidation, but this one is just coming off like flat soda. Like it's not It's not punching me in the mouth. It does have some really good flavors. I am tasting more oak than anything. So, I mean, you see how much is in the bottle, and it's been that way for quite a while. It's still good, but it is nowhere near as good as the other two. So I would definitely rank the new Cask Strength in first place. I would rank the 10-year pick in second place. And it's not fair. I should have, I don't. I was about to say I should have another just regular single barrel to compare it with, because I'm a huge Knob Creek fan, if you can't tell. I mean, I even had to go back to get this one right here. I went to a store one day and they had the old label with the 9 years on there, and they stopped making this label in 2015. So I had to pick that thing up. So that has possibly been sitting around for 10 years and nobody has purchased it. But anyway, this has kind of been a fun matchup, man. I mean, I am a fan. If you are in the area of Nicks of Clinton, I say that it is definitely worth picking up. When I walked in today, like I said, normally, if you are familiar with Nicks of Clinton, normally they have it right in the front by the glass case. As soon as you walk in, they'll have all their picks, and then they'll have them by the bourbon owl. This was backed by the meats owl. And then I talked to one of the guys who works there, and I was like, when did you guys get these in? He said, we got them in yesterday. And he takes me to the back area where the beer counter is at, and he was like, yeah, you talking about these, right? And I was like, yeah. He said, yeah, we got them in yesterday. I said, so you have a ton left? Because I had to shoot a picture to my man Scott. Scott was like, yeah, I'm definitely probably going to get one. So he was waiting on me to give him my thoughts on it. I definitely think this bottle was worth picking up. And with that being said, let the whiskey flow. Never run out unless you head it to a drop. Till next time.